Alrighty. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I fumbled with my mic, so I apologize. How are we all doing? Awesome. Well, let me tell you guys, it has been a chaotic day. And that's why I'm excited to be able to dive into this because I think the biggest thing about all of these discussions that we're having is that even us, and as Brett was talking about his own experiences, even us talking about it are still living in the midst of it. So this morning, for example, I found out a dear colleague of mine who's covering the World Cup in Qatar passed away, tragically collapsed while at the game. And what a way to start the day to find that out. I had no idea, 48 years young, and just unexpectedly passed. I also was on the way here, and the Commodore Barry Bridge decided to shut down and have us sitting in what was a parking lot for an additional 30, 35, 40 minutes. Life throws curveballs at you. Okay, and that's why I'm excited to have the opportunity to share with you some of the things I've learned, some of my own experiences, and how the concept of being planted, not buried, is something that if we embody it, we can address life head on. We can attack the challenges. We can learn through the challenges. So why am I here? I'm an ESPN sports reporter. I'm a former three-time All-American. I'm a college Hall of Famer. I played professional soccer. I coached college soccer at Lehigh University. I am somebody that was not supposed to be here. And I talk about that a lot of times. My journey, my experiences, we all have setbacks, we all have challenges, we all have adversity that we faced. My adversity that I faced helped me to get here. My adversity could have broken me, but instead I am here. And my adversity showed me that I indeed also was planted and still am planted, and I was not buried. So what does that concept mean? How are we planted? And honestly, I wanted to just break it down by the word plant. I do not have a green thumb. Although as of late, I'm getting a little bit better in my adulting years. My plants are thriving, they're beautiful, and some of them are also real. So they're fantastic to have around the house. And so for me, when I break down the word plant, it starts with the concept of P, pouring into your purpose, finding out who you are. And a lot of times in life, we're so busy just moving. We're doing so many different things that we don't take time to listen to ourselves. Take a pulse check. What is it that drives you? What moves you? What do you enjoy doing? What is it that you look forward to doing? For me, it was finding out I enjoy having conversations with people. You know, it started with my family just saying that I talk a lot. And I come from a family of talkers, so it's funny that they tell me I talk a lot because I'm like, what about you? But also just understanding, what does that look like? What does that mean? Okay, I do like to talk. I love having conversation. I'm not going to walk past you and just quietly walk. I'm going to smile. I'm going to say hi. I'm going to say, how are you? What does that look like in a profession? What is my purpose through that? And I learned that through sports, which I thought was my purpose. I learned about who I am and how I can use sports in a bigger way. So through sports, as a child, it's I want to be a professional athlete, play professional soccer, in the WNBA. I wanted to be a lawyer. I had all these ambitions. But what I realized is all those ambitions was really what I learned about who I was. Through each of those things that I was interested in, I was able to get a better sense of what I appreciate. So find your purpose and pour into it. And as we're talking about the theme of plants, I'm going to just stick with that in the idea of water, or as I actually would say if I was not on stage, water. But when you're watering a plant, every plant needs a different amount of water. There are some that require, and I'm learning this too, some that require water maybe once a week, maybe more regularly. And so when you're pouring into your purpose, you have to understand that you're watering it day after day. It takes time, and you're going to consistently pour into it. What does that look like for you? Is it in your business, trying to find ways to learn professional development? In your career? Is it in your health, exercising, eating right? There are so many ways you can pour into what your purpose is to ensure that you're day after day just chipping away. It's not happening overnight. It's not going to happen at the snap of a finger, but you are slowly finding ways to pour into that purpose to ensure that you're helping it to grow. I know we're talking about the concept of growth, and so I love that it directly aligns with planted and being planted. So the second concept of all of this is the idea of learning to let go. You've got to let go of some things. You can't carry all of those burdens, all of that baggage on your shoulders, because you're never going to be able to be as excellent as you can if you're constantly thinking about every other thing, things that you cannot control. That traffic today, I could not control. Tragedies in your life, you cannot control, as hard as that is to wrap your head around. There are certain things in this world that no matter how much you try, you cannot control. All you can control is yourself. What am I doing? How am I adjusting to this? I can't control what's happening to me, but I can control how I'm responding what's happening to me. I can control my outlook, my perspective. Okay, I didn't get this job, or I didn't get the grade that I wanted on that test, or my relationship is struggling, but what can I do about it? So as you're learning to let go, it's that hard pill you have to swallow, that no matter how much, and for those of you that are type A Virgo personalities like myself, no matter how much you may try to write down everything you want to do, map out every plan you have, it will go wrong. And that's hard to accept. Today, I got my makeup done. I was like, oh, great, I'm excited. This is perfect. It's not terribly far from where I'm coming from in Philly. Oh, life. Oh, wait, here's some more life. So you are going to have those hurdles, those challenges that are going to be thrown your way, those curveballs. But what I've learned is through those curveballs, I'm gonna smile through it. And there's a reason it's happening, because I believe that you cannot have blessings without tests and challenges and adversity. And when I became an All-American, that's when I directly realized and learned that all of those things I had to let go of, the politics of soccer as a black girl in a sport that's still needing some work on the diversity aspect, as a girl that grew up being coached by her dad, being told that she was not good enough because she wasn't paying thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars like her friends to play at the highest level academies and travel all over the world, I had to let go of that. I wasn't on a pedestal. There was no favoritism. It wasn't given to me. I had to earn it. As this skinny girl that was told I was too skinny, tall and lanky, couldn't play soccer. But I became an All-American once and twice and 3 times. I played professional soccer. And so I had to learn in those moments that the challenges I faced, and that's what I love about sports, it teaches you lessons. And it taught me to let go. If I had let that frustration, that anger, fester and grow, it would have kept me from doing what I loved. It would have kept me from being at my best. And in order to be at your best, you can't be focused on the rest. And you have to be able to find a way that through that, you're going to prevail. And I've learned to take it in stride. There's a reason why things sometimes go wrong around you. And I always believe that God's trying to wake you up, get your attention, draw you closer in those moments. So in those times, I'll pray on it. I'll listen more. I'll dive into my word more. I'll take a step back and reflect a little bit more. But I will not let it stop me. That's what you can't do. It might mean you've got to slow down. It's like the yellow light at a traffic, the yellow light at a traffic intersection. It's telling you to slow down, to stop, because there's something coming the other way that you might be getting moved out of the way from. And that was hard for me to understand. I had a car accident earlier this year, and a car ran a red light and T-boned me. And I was making my left turn, and I actually saw the car come and hit me. Driver's side, inches away, hit my driver's side mirror and forward. My car spun into the van that was next to me. And then in that 3-car accident, I realized there were so many things that could have went wrong. Inches forward, that's me. That van's not there, I don't know where my car is spinning to. Sometimes life has to get your attention. And it might not be the way we want it to be. It's not always like, hello, let's chat. Take a step back. You're a little stressed out. How about you do some self-care? Sometimes it's a slap in the face. Not literally, hopefully. But there are those moments that life just makes you have to take a step back. And so in the yellow lights of your life, learn to let go of what you can't control. Learn to slow down. Learn to pause. Learn to reflect. Because it could be inches that's saving you, that's promoting you, that's helping you get closer. So the A part, as I talk about a car accident, is the fact that accidents don't happen. That accident didn't happen. It was meant to happen. I don't like it. I had to buy a new car. I'm still working through some things. The legalities of it are not a quick process. But it was not an accident. I was supposed to be at that intersection. And that's hard to accept, because when the bad things happen, we don't want to claim them. When the good things happen by mistake, maybe some of you have had some luck financially, Maybe you accidentally stumble into winning the lottery or getting that promotion. That's a great accident. We claim that. I worked for that. But it's the bad accidents that we struggle with. And so when you are working through your season of growth, there are going to be accidents. You're going to maybe overwater that plant. You're going to maybe have it in a bad spot where the sun is hitting it too much. And you've got to adjust. You've got to be able to pivot. You've got to be able to work through that. So claiming that accidents are also sometimes those wake-up calls, the reality checks. And then understanding that sometimes you will hear the word no, but no actually means many times not yet. That job you applied for, I've applied for many, many jobs. Many, many jobs. I did not get all of the jobs that I've applied for. I've had crushes on guys. I didn't have every guy have a crush on me back. I've had financial plans, and they didn't always work out. Your health sometimes, as we were just hearing about with Brett's testimony. There are things in life that sometimes feel like a no. And no sometimes can be a complete sentence. It's just no. But I've learned that many times it means not yet. You've been delayed, not denied. What you want is still happening, just not in this moment. And that's hard to grasp. And for me, when I applied for those local sports jobs and I applied for different things, and I was like, how am I not getting this job? I've got all the qualifications, I meet all the requirements, I've got a master's, I've got this, I've got that. Because it wasn't what was destined for me. It wasn't enough for me. It wasn't my purpose. So being able to walk in that and understanding there's something bigger. So if this is my no, okay, if I didn't get this job, then that means something very nice is lined up for me. That's how I look at it. This great person, this great job, we put all these expectations on things. If it did not work out, that means something even better is coming. And won't that be beautiful? That ESPN opportunity, that appearance, that interview, that breakthrough for your business, that relationship, whatever that may look like. Understanding that no does not always mean you in this moment are fully rejected. You might be redirected. There have been times in my life where I wanted things, and I'm sure you can all agree in your own experiences. You want something so bad, and you're like, oh, it's gonna happen. You're waiting, you're excited, in anticipation. It doesn't happen. And then what? You've been redirected. Like your navigator recalculating you around that accident, around that construction, life is sometimes recalculating you to something better. And it's hard for us to stand because we don't see it in the now. But when I think back and reflect on my experiences, there have been plenty of things I've been redirected around. And there have been some things I've been redirected into. And that's okay also. Because in those moments, again, it's just adversity. It's just challenges that are helping to strengthen and define your character, your testimony, so that now when you do get to whatever that overall goal is, you're ready for it. By me getting rejected, by me having setbacks, by me having health issues, I can go on and on. I don't have enough time to break down all the different adversity and challenges, but think back to your own challenges. Through those, as we're sitting here today, how much has it helped define you? How much has it helped motivate you to want to do something more, propel you to want to be better, encourage you, support you, make you who you are in terms of your family positioning, your finances, your career? What made you decide to launch that small business? What made you come here today? And so there are different aspects that we don't even realize in the moment have helped us move towards what we are doing. And when you get that no, it might mean it's just time to pull some of those dead leaves off of that plant and make room for something else to grow in. And again, still working on that green thumb, but it does go a long way when you've got all the brown leaves that are taking away from your plant. Sometimes it's time to pull back. Peel those leaves off. Make room for something else to grow. And it wasn't a no, it was a not yet. And so with all that being said, the hardest part that I think is tough to really grasp is time. In this season, we want it all. We want the house, the job, the kids, everything. I want it all, if y'all know the song. But that doesn't always work out. Not in this season. So I love the idea of being planted, that in this moment you're putting seeds into the ground. They're not there permanently. It's temporary. But seeds grow in all different directions to build the roots, the foundation of the plant. And the stronger the roots, the stronger the plant. And there are some plants, and I learned this about bamboos, that actually grow many years without even cracking the surface. And then once they break through the surface after those 4 years of being underground where nobody can see them, within a matter of 24 hours, it can sprout up feet. So you go from being what looks dormant. There's nothing here. There's no life here. There's nothing going on. And then in a matter of 24 hours, that acceleration happens. And to others, it looks like an accident. It looks like it's luck. But in reality, you've been working on building that foundation. So if your business is not taking off the way you want, I heard some of that. If your family is not where you want, if you're not in that relationship, you're not married, you don't have kids, maybe your health isn't where you want it to be. In this season, take your time to learn how you can build the foundation of who you are so that when you do step into that blessing, you're ready for it. You're prepared. I don't know about you guys. I don't want to get the promotion if I'm going to get there and not know what I'm doing. I don't want the promotion into that next blessing, into those goals, into the things that I'm fighting for. If when I get there, I can't keep it. Everybody says it's hard to get to the top. It's harder to stay there. Why is that? If you don't have the foundation, if you're building a house on sand in what you're doing, when you do get there, you're not going to be ready for it. So I ask you, what are you currently planting? What are the seeds in your life that you're currently putting in the ground? In the different aspects, we wear many hats in the course of our lives. We have many relationships, many experiences. What is it that you're currently planting? It's not buried and forgotten and dead and dormant. It's growing. It's manifesting. You're speaking positively over it. You're watering it daily. You're positioning it in a spot where it can receive the right amount of sunlight. You're positioning it in a way where now, when it does take that time to grow and blossom into something beautiful, you'll be ready. So understanding that you have been planted is one of the biggest challenges that I've embraced. I founded a whole organization called Planted Not Buried, which is partly where I was like, you know what, I need to continue speaking on this. Not enough people understand that in this life, we are all in some way being planted day after day. And the hardest thing is, if you have had any types of experiences with this, with plants, there might be plants that blossom in one season, die in the winter, come back the next season. Being planted is not a linear thing where it happens and it's done. You get to the job you want. I'm at ESPN and everyone's like, oh my gosh, you made it. I'm like, did I? Because I don't see myself on SportsCenter. I'm not on TV every day. I'm not on First Take. I didn't make it to where I want to make it to, but I did make it further than I was before. So being planted is a continuous cycle. It's season after season after season. You continue to raise the bar for yourself. You continue to challenge yourself. You continue to find new ways to reinvent yourself, to pivot and move through, but it is not A to B to C in a linear direction. There's setbacks. The pandemic, I was not working. I was unemployed. So what did I do? I started writing. I started writing books. I started creating my organization, Planted Not Buried. I started speaking more in a virtual space. I started pouring into other aspects of my life that were my passion and were my purpose. So even in the hardest moments in life, we have to understand that through those times, you might be in this pause, this setback, this period of quarantine, whatever it may look like, health issues, because you're being forced to learn something about yourself. And isn't it a beautiful thing when you take that time to figure out who you are in this season? Not who I was 1 year ago, 5 years ago, who I am today. What do I like? What motivates you? So that you can continue to pour into that. So I encourage all of you guys in this season of growth, in this season of challenges, embrace the challenges, just like you embrace the blessings. We all get excited when the good things happen. Embrace the challenges as well, and understand that the bigger the test, the bigger the blessings. The best rainbows come after the worst storms. What is your storm today, and what is that rainbow that's going to come after? Thank you, guys.